Time does not stop, and neither do the construction projects going on all over Disneyland Paris. It's now been over 3 months since our last construction update video, so today I invite you to come around the resort and discover how everything is moving. We'll start at Disneyland Park with the works happening in Main Street USA, Adventure Isle, Big Thunder Mountain, and Space Mountain. Take a stroll over to Disney Village, where a lot has happened since January with new stores, big developments, and new construction sites. And end the tour in Walt Disney Studios Park, where the major project that is Disney Adventure World is transforming and expanding the park with remade and now reopened areas, Adventure Way, the large Adventure Bay Lake with all that can be found around it, and of course Arendelle in the world of Frozen. There's still, however, a new site where some works have just begun, so I assure you that you should stay until the end of the video, as a roar can be heard in the distance. Very well then, as you enter the Disneyland Park, Boardwalk Candy Palace has finally reopened after its refurbishment works that saw quite a few changes being made to the store. Now sponsored by M&M's, you can start seeing the differences even before making your way inside. Large M&M self-service tubes are now available with different types of the famous chocolate. In the back of the store, the roofs were repainted, losing the circus style and reverting closer to what it looked like when the park opened in 1992. These are now painted light blue, simulating the sky during one of those cloudless Parisian days. A lot remains, more importantly the amazing mural at the back, but special decorations were placed throughout the store to really bring it to life. Making our way down the street, we come across the still not complete Casey's Corner Terrace. This has been a hard construction project, because even if small, it's a difficult location with guests all around it all day long. But unfortunately, there were also problems that were impossible to predict. Either way, the screens have been removed, and we can see the final themed roofs, which not only look amazing, but also fit with this area of Main Street incredibly well. Imagineers have also added many nods to baseball throughout, carrying on the theme of the iconic restaurant. Just by Sleeping Beauty's castle, the castle stage continues its refurbishment, now nearing completion with the final theming being added. These works have been ongoing to further increase the backstage areas and refurbishing the more than 30-year-old structure. I just hope we can see a new show play here daily. Let's now turn left and go into Frontierland. In January, we saw that works had just begun on Big Thunder Mountain's 6-month refurbishment, just a few days earlier. But now, several months have passed, and there's a few things for us to check. On this side of the mountain, we see a lot of activity, especially in the sharp turn after the splashdown, where the 33-year-old track was removed and a brand new piece was installed. Confirming that we are witnessing a partial retrack of the ride this time around, focusing on the parts that have suffered the most stress with all the trains passing all day long. We can see work being conducted on the structure for the tracks here, where the new metal beams are being installed. Wood track theming has been removed and changed in several parts of the ride. There are also several ropes hanging from a few of the tallest spikes in the mountain. While these are probably for support in the works currently happening, I'm unsure for what their purpose is, and hopefully they can be used to repaint some of the worst looking parts of Big Thunder. The Molly Brown continues its refurbishment in the back of the land, and many walls keep guests from looking into the entrance and queue building, which is also undergoing a big refurbishment alongside the train depot. In Adventureland, most of the caves and paths to explore are closed off to the public, including the iconic suspended bridge. These are all receiving a big rework that will soon offer a treasure hunt game for everyone, inspired by the classic Pirates of the Caribbean ride and movies, coming this year, announced at the April 12th event. If you want to learn more about the announcements, make sure to check my video on it. We can now circle back to Discoveryland, where Arbitron has begun a long refurbishment of its own, but we're most interested in what's behind it with Space Mountain. The lighting package complete rework carries on, now completely engulfing the main side of the building up until the Columbiad Cannon. In the back, the themed scrims have been removed, which gives us a good look at how the new package, which so far is looking marvelous at night, will be like. The old lighting system used outdated tech that was very hard to upkeep, leaving many sections with either incomplete lighting or in the darkness. This new one should be a lot better in that sense too. With this, we can leave the Disneyland Park and take that stroll over to Disney Village, where a lot is happening. As we approach, the void left by Planet Hollywood is still very noticeable, as works on Casa Julia haven't started just yet. However, much has changed as we move deeper in. First of all, the sports bar and New York Sandwiches restaurants have closed down, and works are well underway in their transformation into the new sports bar. Inside the covered area, the very large skylight has been removed as a brand new will be installed, replacing it. On the left, the Mickey and Friends marquee for the Disney Store has been taken out too, signaling the big changes happening in the whole shopping and dining district of the resort. To the right, 4 brand new stores are now open: Disney Glamour, Disney Style, the Lego Store, and Deco by Disney. These have amazing new facades filled with fun details, such as the Incredibles board that changes as you move from the parks to the hotels or from the hotels to the parks, the Deco by Disney 3D panels with the castle recreation, or the amazing Lego statue outside the store. Inside, the stores offer a simpler and more modern atmosphere. The construction speed of these 4 stores really took off in the past months, as in January, this is what they looked like. Carrying on, we come across the brand new McDonald's restaurant that's being built to the left of the existing one. The works here are progressing at great speeds as well, as the restaurant gets ready to open in the next year. As we can see from these photos, it's already several stories high. This is going to be a very large restaurant, offering some great capacity to Village. In front of Hotel New York, Petite Rosalie, a new bar by the shores of Lake Disney, is the perfect place to relax and have a drink or an ice cream during the sunny days. Behind it, the construction of the new, permanent and larger security gates is also reaching its end, as a lot of the theming elements have been installed. This will offer 5 lines and scanners for much faster security checkpoints, compared to the current 2, which leads to very large queues during busy times. New floorings have replaced the old concrete in several areas of Village, including in front of the new shops and the Earl of Sandwich. These will continue as the transformation does too. The events arena, which Disney had filed demolition permits last year for, has been completely dismantled, leaving only the bare parking lot. It's still unknown what Disney is planning for this location, but it might not be a long time until we hear about it. Very well then, let's now make our way into Walt Disney Studios, shall we? Even before coming into the park, we see that half of the right side of front lot is behind walls. This is because the ticketing and guest services area will be under refurbishment for several months in preparation for the great relaunch of the park under the Disney Adventure World name next year. Currently, the temporary yet well-made booths have been added, reminiscent of the style we already know. These will only be here until the refurbishment ends. Actually, inside the park, the Sorcerer Mickey Fountain has been refurbished, and behind it, Studio One, now world premiere, is still behind construction walls, but it won't be for much longer, as its grand opening will take place on the 15th of May, so in just a few days. A few changes have been made on this side of the building though, including a complete repaint of the facade, covering the Walt Disney Studios Park name and logo. It looks great and fresh. Front lawn has always been a very nice part of the park. Unfortunately, the new music takes away from much of that, but at night, it still is amazing. Speaking of at night, world premiere will bring Los Angeles under the starry night sky to Paris. Some images shared on April 12th give us an idea of what to expect. Highly themed facades, spectacular lighting, new foods and snacks in a brand new setting, and so much more. I can't wait to see how everything looks like in just a few days. On the other side, we come across World Premiere Plaza, where a lot has changed too. First of all, on the facade of World Premiere, we now see that everything is nearing completion, as a new awning is revealed alongside a new wall on top of it. The 3 show posters have been added, just like their lights, and the whole thing has also received a brand new paint job. The new awning has a beautiful mural showcasing the lands, attractions and characters from the park, including future ones like Frozen and The Lion King. In front of this is the partner statue with Walt and Mickey overlooking Adventure Way and the entirety of the park. You can see large Art Deco inspired lights beneath it with theming behind them too. This will be like an old school movie entrance. The maze of walls has changed once again, but now World Premiere Plaza is a lot more open and complete. New floors, trees, planters, greenery, streetlights, seating and more all bring what used to be quite a bad square to life. The moment you come into this part of the park, it feels very different in a very good way. The new flower beds for the statue, surrounded by the new floors and trees, really add a lot to the Hollywood facades present in the land, especially at night, with all the lights turned on, including in the many trees. There's a very nice amount of greenery, and a lot more is still being added, as works are now focused on the area around the exit of World Premiere, where many new trees and light posts have already been added, around the Animagique Theater, whose facade is being reworked with the removal of the Studio 3 sign, soon to be followed by the installation of a large-scale poster for Mickey and the Magician. We can also see the installation of a new LED panel beneath the name and an amazing new mural at the back, paying homage to Animagique. New floors and a very large green area have opened up here not long ago, but most works are now focused in front of the currently closed Studio Theater, where the Studio 2 sign is also being removed and placed the stars transformed in this last phase of the World Premiere Plaza project. Close by, the Tower of Terror queue weatherproofing project is now underway. This will create more protection from the elements in the queue for the Hollywood Tower Hotel, while also adding more atmosphere and story elements. Currently, the switchback area is closed, and a new temporary queue line can be found outside to handle the crowds. Walls have moved back, and the path from Toy Story Playland to Tower of Terror behind Animation Celebration is once again accessible, and we can see how this area has changed, carrying on similar works to the rest of World Premiere Plaza. As we knew would happen, the old Tower of Terror Fast Pass location will undergo a transformation as it becomes a small themed shop. The most interesting thing here, however, is the new rosette on the floor. This that marks the start of Adventure Way and the new side of the park. Behind these construction walls, we can clearly see the amazing and long promenade that will soon lead guests to Adventure Bay. The street now has all the trees on both sides, with many new street lamps now in place. Taking a closer look at these, we can see that they're adorned with many popcorn lights, reminiscent of the Main Street facades. These still have the protective film covering them, hence the strange look. Adventure Way has the Main Street on the middle and the 2 arcade-like paths on both sides. These have many arches, also adorned with many popcorn lights, surrounded by trees and greenery. The view from here is absolutely stunning, and with the large trees on both sides and lush landscaping right before reaching the lake, it all comes together to hide Arendelle while still giving away something to act as a weenie and call guests into this side of the park. This gives it a much stronger reveal as you reach the lake. I stood here for a long time, just appreciating the scale of it all. It must be said that while I did my best, there's only enough that photos and videos can capture. Over on Cars Road Trip, we can see the progress on the theming of both the new restrooms, now surrounded by trees, and the large Regal View restaurant. The 3 food and 1 merch kiosks are also progressing well, but the biggest change we can see here is the addition of countless new trees. These will help all of Adventure Bay feel much less deserted and surrounded by gorgeous nature, while also hiding the large road trip queue and station building. In Toy Story Playland, we can see that all the new posts have been placed and should be getting their large-scale Christmas lights soon. In fact, if you take a look from above, we can see that the pavements are already made and much of the greenery is being planted all throughout this new entrance and area to the land, alongside both Jessie and Woody statues. The parachutes give us an incredible point of view of the entire expansion, and this photo captures much of that. Disney has planted a forest throughout Adventure World. There are trees everywhere, and many more still to come. But before moving closer to the back of the park, there are still a few things we have to check. First of all, Gazebo Garden has evolved a lot, with new floors seemingly complete, and the actual gazebo now in place with its theming nearly complete. Adventure Way now has almost every part of its floors in place too, just like all the trees and so much more. Over in Repon's Tangled Spin, we see that the building is looking beautiful, with the top being adorned with stained glass windows. The East Pavilion, home to some restrooms, backstage infrastructure, and a snack location, is also looking great, with just the show control tower still to receive part of its theming. The Regal View restaurant is nearing completion, with most of its roofs done with just a few elements to be added. It's expected that the walls will receive more theming elements as well to complement what's already there, but it's looking very impressive. In this photo, we can see many trees on the left side of the lake. These are 2 different new berms that have been constructed combined with a few more on the pathways. This will help hide several buildings or other kinds of structures not meant to be seen or being right on the nose, such as the large Theater of the Stars Arena, the Gravity Building from Flight Force, or the large park berm and outside buildings, while continuing to immerse guests in the lands, especially Frozen. These trees will grow as time passes, becoming even more beautiful and truly enclosing the lake in nature. Around the lake, we can see progress on all the pathways, kiosks, and smaller structures, such as the awnings on both sides. These are complete and look gorgeous, with the tile roofs and popcorn lights. The rotating bridge is once again in the open position, and we can see one of 4 turrets that will be themed to either Frozen on the Arendelle side or in the style of Adventure Bay on the other. All the way in the back, the very large park berm, built several years ago to keep the outside world, well, outside, has finally received many small trees on top of it. These will help hide all the buildings that would be able to be seen from inside the park in very specific areas, and help make it seem as if the forests around Arendelle continue far beyond the village. Speaking of, I think it's time to talk about Frozen. The village is looking incredible, with all its buildings either complete or very near that milestone. We see that trees have been placed here as well, and that the final touches are being placed in the village. The mountain range that will be seen from all over the park is looking truly outstanding, with the entire right side completely themed with both grassy lower points and snowy peaks in the back. This will appear much larger with the help of forest perspective. The left side, which still had a long way to go in January, is also nearing completion, with most importantly the North Mountain seemingly finished. The detail is truly breathtaking, and Elsa's ice castle is all that's missing from the snowy top. Below it, the final section of the mountain range, still to be themed, is well underway, with the final concrete being added and sculpted. Painting will then take over and Arendelle's mountain range will be complete. I truly can't stress it enough at how grand this whole expansion feels like now. It's going to be a completely different park by the time works finish. While works in this front are starting to come to set end, others are just beginning. In fact, while construction permits are only to be accepted later this year, groundworks and preparation for the Lion King is well underway. We can see that a large dig site has taken over the area as works on essential infrastructure commence. This allows us to see the size of the land, but also that Disney isn't wasting any more time and are completely diving into the construction of the Pride Lands. While there isn't much more to see other than the groundworks, make sure to check my latest Lion King Land video with all the updated information to learn more about what's to come after Disney Adventure World opens next year. For a small comparison, this is what the expansion looked like in April 2024, so a little over a year ago. You can see how bare everything was. This is what that same view looks like now. Truly incredible stuff. And so, with that, we come to the end of this massive construction update video. There really is a lot happening in the resort, and I truly enjoy making these. If you enjoy watching them, make sure to leave a like and consider subscribing. Now I ask you, what do you think of the progress done, and what are you most excited for? If you have any questions, make sure to ask them down below and I'll do my best to answer them. And now, as always, thank you for watching, and that's a wrap.